Alright, so the game Crimson Desert came out just a couple of days ago, and there's already been things online about, oh, it crashes, that it's just not very good in general, that the storyline's really slow. So I went ahead and I did what I usually don't do, and is I bought the game pretty early on, when it came out. And I played it for about 3 to 4 hours, and I want to give you my honest review, my likes and gripes about the game, and to let you know, is it worth the 69 plus dollars, or maybe it's something you should wait on? So honestly, it's my opinion. So a lot of people like the game right off the bat, and a lot of people don't. So I'm already past the time where I can probably get my refund on Steam, so I'm kind of stuck with this game. I'm going to play it from beginning to end, and I want to make sure I get my money's worth out of it. But so starting out, I want to give you like the settings. So if I hit start and I scroll over to others, options, settings. All right, so starting out, I want to let you know that I have it set for NVIDIA's DLSS 4.5 with at balanced setting, and I have frame gen turned off. So with this setting on graphics, I have everything set for cinematic, so it looks as best as possibly can that the game provides. And then I got frame gen turned off, and I do run a 5090 video card with a 9950 X3D, so I'm running right around, if I turn this off, it looks like about 125 FPS. If I turn frame gen on with 2X, I'm usually running right around 240, so right where my monitor sits at 4K. And the game's pretty smooth. So there is some stiffness in the controls here. A lot of people, especially the younger generation than myself, they do like faster paced games, or at least like real smooth or quicker movements. So if they're expecting you on your joystick or on your keyboard to take that left turn, they want to see some instantaneous movement, right? Not this guy lumbering around kind of slow. I don't mind it too much. It does take some getting used to, but it doesn't bother me too bad. Like, say if I hit X and go for like a little jog, it's a little bit faster and a little bit better, but it's still pretty slow. And then if you really dash, the full sprint that you see here with my stamina going down, yeah, it's definitely still on the slower end, but it's a little bit better. And the reason being, I think, is in this game, you kind of got to build up some speed. There's like a stat in here for speed, and I'm just wondering maybe that that's what you got to build up. But I mean, if this is the general movement of the speed, then yeah, I can see why a lot of people don't like it. So graphic wise, like I showed you earlier, I'm in cinematic mode. This game looks gorgeous. And usually games that look this good are pretty hard on your video card or your CPUs. And I told you what I got earlier, and I do run undervolts on both. And I'm sitting right around 59 for my CPU and 59 to 61 degrees Celsius. And yeah, the game's pretty optimized. The developers did a good job, and in my opinion, and the game looks gorgeous, and it actually runs pretty easy on my system. Now, mind you, I do have a higher end PC, and I got a buddy of mine who's running on a 12th gen Intel with a 3060, and he struggles a little bit, and he's had some game crashes and some stuttering, and it appears that this game kind of wants you to have at least a mid-level to high-end PC to run properly. I could be wrong about that, but after talking with him, he seems to be having some issues. And I got another friend of mine, she running a 5070 Ti with a 9950 X3D, and she has no issues at all whatsoever. She runs on a 1440p setup, and it runs pretty smooth. So this game you might have some issues with this game if you have a much older system. But at least on my end, like most games should, I'm running really smooth, and I'm running about 122 FPS. If I were to turn frame gen on with 2X, I usually run right around 240, so that makes sense. So graphic wise, game's great. I mean, it looks pretty. The game's movements in general, like moving around, I don't mind it too much, but I can see where people have issues. So one complaint I do have is when I hit the start menu, it seems like there's menus upon menus that are inside menus. So if I go to, say, journal here, main quest, and then I see these and I click on that, look, I have a whole nother little sub menu right here. So there's a lot of menus in this game, and you have to navigate through and learn how to do. And it's not so bad once you learn it, but it is kind of annoying. Same thing with Faction Quest here. Go to Journal, hit LTRT. I go to Faction Quest and I click on a faction. And look, another menu, you know? So you do got quite a bit of menus here. Skills. So you got 3 skills here. So you got your armed combat tree right here. And then you have another tree right here that helps with your, you could say they're powers. I'm trying not to give too much away here, but like I call this like the arm. But this is like some powers you have here, and this is more like another set of powers you could have. It's like they got 3 different ways of fighting and like world mechanics that takes this kind of stuff. And on top of this, you also have weapons. You got spear, longsword, dual weapons, kind of like how you want to fight in the game. I usually stick with the sword and shield that it kind of came with. Inventory. So you got a set amount of inventory spaces. As of right now, I have 68 in inventory space, and I got 65 filled. Excuse me. And so right here, yeah, I mean, you can just pick up a lot of random stuff like I did right here with these bugs, and it takes up your space quite a bit. And not to mention, not just your space, but you actually have to keep your armor and weapons in here too. So if you see on the other side right here, this is where all your side weapons are. This is where you keep accessories. This is your main stuff that you're using that you can equip. And then this more accessory stuff right here, and then ring. And then below this is like your typical RPG stuff. You have your health, stamina, spirit, which I guess is kind of like magic. Your attack, your defense, critical rate, attack speed, movement speed. So this is what I'm talking about right here. I'm not too sure if this is movement speed as if moving around the world, or if it's movement speed as in while you're in a combat situation. And I'm about to get into combat, or at least show you some moves, just so you can see how the combat kind of is. Fire resistance and ice resistance here, and lightning resistance. So those are the elements. So in this game, weather really matters too. So if it's hot outside, you want to try to put on lighter clothing, because if you're too hot or too cold, it's going to affect how your stamina and other things in the game work for you. So if I go back into the normal gameplay, you see this little bar, or kind of like a little half circle bar on the lower left hand corner of the screen. And you see I have this little arrow that's in the green. That's where my character's temperature is at. So weather does mean a lot in this game, that I can tell so far. Now, mind you, I only got a few hours into this game so far, so I'm probably missing a lot of stuff that other more experienced players have had, or I might have missed stuff, but this is what I've gotten from the tutorials that I've played so far. So combat wise, I'm gonna get into an area where I'm not gonna cause a fight with any rando. So to start combat, you pretty much just have to hit R1. So bust out a sword and shield, and you kind of like light attack is R1. You just hold it down and you do some attacks, or you tap it and you do some attacks. However you like to play. Did I say R1? I'm not too sure. Well, RB is the light attack. R1 is heavy attack, as you see here. LB is shield, and then RT is bow and arrow. And I'm not a big bow and arrow person, but you know, it's there as an option. I guess you can shoot or hunt maybe. We'll find that out later. So the thing about the inventory and arrows, you do have a finite number of arrows, so you have to craft some, buy some, or make some, whatever it is, I think. So yeah, that's a thing there too. So you don't have an infinite number of arrows. I shot a whole bunch at one point at the very beginning trying to learn how to do it. So, and next thing you know, I ran out and I was like, oops. So the map is a little iffy with me. And this is going to go into a small tangent with the game at the very beginning. When opening credits and screen says that it's made for a controller, really. I think that's what developers want. And I think I know why, because there is a learning curve with the controller, because there's a lot of like combination of buttons you got to press and to do certain abilities and or certain things with the world. And it is kind of annoying. It's a lot. So be prepared if you get this game to having to go back and look at how do you do the certain kick, or how to use the powers in a certain way. So good luck with that. I'm still learning it myself. I'm pretty sure there's more tutorials down the road, because I actually read up on this a little bit, that there's the tutorial is very long in this game on the things to do. But one thing that irritates me with the map, and let me get back to that, is when you use a left joystick, the crosshairs move fast, real fast. And so I found it better to just take your mouse and it's right back to smooth moving, right? But if I use the left joystick, it kind of jumps everywhere. And so I don't know if that's just, maybe it's the calibration of my controller. I don't think so. I think this is just the game, because I never had this problem with any other games that I played with a controller. I still do like to play a lot of my games on keyboard and mouse. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my controller too, so I'll do both, but I just find it as a little hybrid setup is good for this. So if I'm doing in the menus and stuff like that, or in this map, I'll use the keyboard and mouse just to get things by, and then general gameplay, I'll be right back into using the controller. So when I'm playing this game too, there's certain things, like I was saying with the control, so some of the buttons have dual modes. Like if I hold LB, it brings out the little dot, and you can like hone in on a certain character to talk to them, or you might be able to do that, or it might change all of a sudden to something else, and you might accidentally kick a character and start like a little fight or an ordeal, and it's kind of annoying. So I think about remapping my controller because I do have one of those other controllers that I just hit the extra buttons that it comes with, and I'll just maybe set it up that way. The storyline I've gotten so far, at the very beginning, it kind of, a little bit of spoiler alert if you want, you're part of a clan and something bad happened, and try not to spoil too much. They kind of sort of, you got somehow put on your own, and you're trying to find other members of your clan. And the storyline didn't say why, really, that I've noticed. It didn't say, oh, these are warring clans, or these are. It seems like it's just some asshole out of nowhere came and attacked you and just like decimated your people. So I guess the storyline unlocks more as you go, so you'll find out more. But as part of the, and again, spoiler alert, as part of you getting some powers and stuff, like this, like reaching arm, it didn't really say like, okay, yeah, you get these powers because of this. Oh, because you were kind of nice. So it's like, I don't understand, but okay. And I just went with it because I think the powers are kind of cool. And like for instance, if you use this arm and pull back a tree and you hit X, I'm flying, or at least I'm in the air. And then if I hit X, this is another power you get if you play the storyline, you kind of glide down. Now in the game it says you fly, but you don't really fly. You kind of just fall and you just glide down, but you do run out of stamina, so you gotta kind of time it before you hit the ground so you don't die. I kind of already died twice without paying attention, but so that's where I'm at in the game so far. I've knocked out a few quests, and in order to get more inventory space, you have to do some quests for villagers and kind of show that you're trying to be part of a community, I guess. I don't know. And I finished one random quest about making some fish porridge or something, and it says, hey, you unlock 3 new spaces. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know how that coincided, but hey, whatever, it works. In order to like build up your skill tree here, there's certain objects you got to find from the abyss, or it's, I don't know if it's from the abyss, or you could say it is, but it's like linked to the abyss. And then these objects, you click on these circles here, and it gives you like more stamina, more attack power, or more spirit or magic, or better moves for armed combat. So yeah, that's how you kind of level up in the game. There's no real actual like number level of, oh, you hit level 65. Yeah, that doesn't work. So here it's more like just a skill based thing. Like the only thing that has something to do with levels is your skills. So an overall level you don't have. But that's about it, guys. That's my first few hours of playthrough, me learning what I can about this. Now, do I think it's worth the $69+ coming right out from Steam and maybe other places? I don't think so. Paying full price at $69 now, it hasn't really hit me. Like I do enjoy the game, don't get me wrong. This game seems pretty fun. I'm sure I'll have more fun as I play along and learn more about it. But in my honest review after 3 hours, because Steam has that thing, is if you play a game for like, I guess, so long and you don't like it, you can kind of get a refund. And that's what I'm kind of basing it off of. After like an hour or two, if it hasn't really caught on to you and you get a refund, then yeah, I don't think you're gonna miss out too much. Maybe if the game started out right around $50, I'd be more willing to like spend that. I mean, I already kind of did, but at a full $69 right now, I don't really see it being worth that, because there's other games out there that are a little bit older that are still that price, that are better from the get-go. But my opinion could change, because I'm going to make another video when I get like 50 hours in and let you know, like, if my opinion changed after that and say, hey, yeah, it's $69 worth it, cool. But my first initial impressions is no, it's not. And I would either one, try to get it at a discounted price. Honestly, since I told you earlier, I usually don't buy games right when they come out for reasons of I don't want to buy a crappy game and waste my money since everything's getting expensive now. I already had like 25 bucks sitting in my Steam account that was just burning a hole because I haven't really found a game that I really wanted to use it on. So I went ahead, and since this game had a lot of things going around on the internet about it, I went ahead and pulled the trigger. So technically I only paid 50 bucks. So at $50, I think the game's worth it. What I would have, if I had paid 69 plus tax for the game and then played it for the first hour or two, I probably would have got my refund from Steam. But like I said before, my opinion could change once I play more. So hey guys, I appreciate you watching this, and I'm gonna have to cut it off right here so I can continue more to play and maybe learn some more and give you more videos about it. But leave some comments below on what you think about the game yourself, and maybe there's something I missed that you want to throw in there, and yeah, let's have a conversation about it, because I do love video games. I do. I mean, I've been playing games ever since I was a teenager in the 90s. And as an older person now, I still enjoy games. And, I'm all about, building your PCs, optimizing, and playing the game. That's the whole point of my channel. Unfortunately, I haven't really done a lot of gaming lately because life got in the way. But yeah, so like and subscribe, leave comments below. Let's have a conversation, start a positive community. So, but I'll see you guys again on a future video about this, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.